Today, we are tackling a skill that, let's be honest, all of us will have to use at some point in our lives. How to get through those really tough conversations with compassion and with grace. Now, a lot of what we'll talk about comes from the world of medicine, but you're going to see these ideas apply to pretty much everything.
So let's just start with this question right here, because it really gets to the heart of what we're talking about. It completely reframes the whole idea, right? It suggests that our words, and just as importantly, how we say them, well, they're not just words. They can actually be a form of treatment, a way of caring for someone when they are at their most vulnerable.
And that's what this is. It's a different kind of medicine. And this isn't just a challenge for doctors and nurses. It's a deeply human challenge for every single one of us. Because when you have to deliver news that's going to change someone's world, your words have the power to literally shape their reality from that moment on.
And the data on this is just undeniable. The delivery of the information is every bit as critical as the information itself. How we choose to handle these conversations can build or completely shatter trust, and it can dramatically affect how a person is able to cope, not just right then and there, but for a long, long time to come.
So what are the actual stakes here? I mean, why is getting this right so incredibly crucial? Let's dive a little deeper into the real impact these conversations have.
Okay, first thing we have to realize is that bad news isn't just one single thing. It's a whole spectrum of conversations. It could be anything from a scary new diagnosis to admitting a mistake you made. And each one of these moments can unleash a storm of emotions, fear, anger, you name it. Understanding that variety is really the first step.
And what this slide shows us, well, the contrast is just so stark. Look at the two sides. Poor communication isn't neutral. It actually does harm. It erodes trust. It makes it harder for people to cope. But compassionate communication, that's not about sugarcoating things. It's about delivering the truth with humanity. And when you do that, you actually build trust, and you can lessen the distress someone feels. So here's the big takeaway. We have to completely shift how we think about this. Good communication isn't just some optional, nice-to-have soft skill. No way. It is a powerful, necessary tool. You can even think of it as an intervention that directly impacts the outcome.
Okay, so we've got the why down. That's important. But now for the how, because that's where we can actually make a difference. How do we structure these conversations so that we can be both incredibly clear and deeply compassionate at the same time?
Well, in the medical world, they often use a framework called SPIKES. It's a pretty straightforward 6-step guide that acts as a roadmap. And honestly, the lessons from it are invaluable for any of us who have to have a difficult conversation.
And what's so brilliant about this is that the structure doesn't get in the way of empathy. It actually makes space for it. Think about it. Just setting the stage properly shows respect. Asking what they already perceive meets them right where they are. And that 5th step, emotions. Just pausing and acknowledging how they feel, that might just be the most important step of them all.
So a roadmap like Spikes is a great place to start. But the real art, the mastery, it comes from the little things, the subtle choices we make with our words and our presence that go way beyond any checklist.
The first one is so simple, but we overlook it all the time. Just swap out the jargon for plain human language. As you can see here, saying the cancer has spread is direct, it's easy to understand, and it gets rid of that extra layer of stress that comes when someone is just confused. It's also so important to avoid the trap of false reassurance. Saying everything will be okay when you can't possibly know that, it can just destroy trust. What's so much more powerful is to offer your presence, your support. A promise like we will walk through this step by step. That's honest and it's deeply, deeply comforting.
And let's not forget 2 of the most powerful tools we have. Seriously. First, silence. We have to fight that urge to fill every single pause. That silence, that's where the other person is processing what you just told them. It's critical space. And second, just acknowledging an emotion. Gently saying, I can see this is overwhelming, it validates their entire experience. It tells them they've been heard.
And finally, and this is so important, we have to remember that everyone's different. Culture, personality, it all plays a huge role. Never, ever assume someone wants to get bad news alone. The best thing you can do is just ask. A simple question like, would you like a family member to be here? Shows so much respect for what they need in that moment. So why does all of this matter so much in the grand scheme of things? Well, because the impact of these conversations, it doesn't just end when the conversation is over. It has an echo. It can last for years.
Just let that sink in for a second. People might forget the exact words, the specific details you shared, but they will never, ever forget how you made them feel. The memory of being treated with dignity, with kindness, with basic human compassion, that's the thing that lasts.
And look, this isn't just about making people feel good. A single conversation, handled with compassion, can change real-world outcomes. It can improve how people cope, make them more likely to stick with a difficult plan, and it can actually reduce the long-term trauma of hearing bad news.
So we're going to leave you with this final thought, a question for you to carry with you. Because sooner or later, every one of us is going to be in this position. And when that day comes, how are you going to use your words? Will they just be tools to inform, or will you use them to offer something just as important, a chance to begin to heal?